Hi, my name is Amy Lee, and what I'll be discussing as my strategy for this presentation is a reinforcement schedule. So what it is that it is a learning strategy used by students to help them keep in a consistent behavior by having them set up consequence for themselves once they reach a certain response that they want to achieve. So there are 4 different types that students use for the schedules, and they are fixed ratio, variable ratio, fixed interval, and then variable interval. In the next 4 slides, I'll be explaining them what they are. So a fixed ratio is when students set up a schedule that once they go through the consequence, they it will happen like once they reach a certain amount of responses that they completed by. A variable ratio is when students are given a consequence by which when they have calculated the average number of responses. A fixed interval is when students set up a schedule that they need to reach a certain amount of time before they get their consequence. And then for variable interval is when students are not able to have access to their consequence after some time of average has gone by. So how reinforcement schedule work is when students first, once they condense through their work task by smaller portions, they'll be able to keep the concentration going on. And by doing so, by which time the fixed and variable intervals will help students divide their time so they can effectively manage their time while they study. And then for motivation, this strategy will keep their students more engaged, and by which they will be more involving themselves with smaller portions or shorter times, so that way they won't feel like they feel intimidated by the workload. So why reinforce enhances students' concentration is that they'll be able to be more engaged in their workload, and by which they will have any excuse to procrastinate from their work. So according to Ms. Rat and Meeking's research, they discovered that the students once they condense their work into smaller portions, they were able to increase the behaviors that they want to achieve. This method will help students be more motivated in accomplishing the academic studies that they want. So my personal experience is that I set my schedule to ratio schedule. So what I do is that I first get my task into smaller portions, by which every time I complete them, I will have a positive reinforcement. For myself, I either eat chips, drink my favorite beverages, or just play a few minutes of playing my games on my phone. So for the readings, I usually break them down into either 2 pages at most. So that way I won't feel discouraged from the workload, because usually the reading assignments I have are pretty long. So that way having a consistent short portions will keep me motivated. So how fixed ratio help my learning goals is that once I be more engaged with the task, and by which I'll eventually get the rewards that I want, I'll keep going until like I reach it. And by which by then I'll be able to finish my task and then move on to the next one. So according to Tra, like some of the factors of why students like lean towards like procrastination is that they either have the lack of motivation or they're not just able to concentrate on their work. So I wish this schedule will promote me to like be more engaged in my work. So that means it'll be less likely chances of me procrastinating my work. So in other circumstances, students not only don't have to use it for reading materials, they can also use it for helping them study for exams or some other learning materials that they need to memorize by then. So it usually helps them like go through like maintain their focus while reading like a long, like lengthy like material. And by which they can like use their own preference on what the rewards will be. An example of what students using is that Reina has like a chapter material that's like that consists 30 pages, and by which she decides that she wants to divide each portion into 2 pages, by which she has to go through like 15 times for her consistent schedule. So as reward, she used a positive reinforcement by having like eating chips. Or she can use like something else like that she prefers that she considers to be like a motivation for her to keep going on. So once like she keeps going, keep going with this method, she will be able to increase her concentration and therefore not be able to like suck off from her work. And these are my references I used in my presentations. And these are, and the last 2 are the templates and the resource that I used for presentation. Thank you.